Give me the good evening, everybody. Y'all almost didn't make it. Almost didn't make it. But I wanted to pop in today. I definitely don't plan on being before you long. But I had to hop in because I said I was going to show up no matter what. It has been a long day. How has your Saturday? How has y'all Saturday been going today? Did you do anything great? Did God show his hand in your Saturday today? What what did you all do? I had a vending event today. So, welcome to More Life to Live, guys. Today we're gonna keep it, I don't know, I just kinda got a thought. I'm gonna share with y'all, let y'all know how my day went today. Alrighty. This is definitely, you all can chime in, you can have a conversation with me, um you can comment. I hope I see it. For those of you that don't know, I try to stream all at once. I try to get my Facebook family, I try to get my YouTube community and family, and my Instagram family all at once. So y'all, sometimes I be waiting to see like the comments that come up, and if I have it on my phone, I see them, so you'll hear me shout you out. But y'all, if you make a comment and I don't say anything, please don't hold that against me. I might not see it. I'm still new to this thing, and I'm gonna get better. I promise y'all, I'm gonna get better. Alrighty. But I wanted to hop in today. And I don't know if you read the heading, and I asked a question um in there because I like to start off with questions. But I had a thought today as I reflected on my day, and that's like something that I'm finding myself doing more. I sit with myself. I played back conversations in a day or things in a day that I thank God for, or I repent for it. Just kind of depends on what is happening. Um, so my question for you, my opening question for you all today is: have you ever looked at a situation and thought you knew exactly what happened, only to realize later you were only seeing one part of the picture? Have you ever thought that? My second question for you all is: what do you all define as success? Like my business, my entrepreneurs that are out there, individuals that spend time doing something, even teachers, parents. Sometimes you might not feel like you had a productive day unless you get certain things done. So I guess my question is, what would you consider to be a successful day? Right? Do you, I'm sorry, my son is texting me, and it came through on my phone and on my Mac at the same time. So if I look distracted, I did. I just got distracted. And y'all, I'm on a fresh out of my nap wake up brain, right? So I'm gonna share with you kind of my day, and I want you to imagine if this was you, okay? And I'm gonna just ask you because I want to see what lens you all kind of look through. I want to know if you feel like this was a successful day. All righty. And I'm not looking for you to give me the answer that you think I'm looking for. I literally just want to know. So let me give it to you um, before I tell you No, I can't tell you all the details. Let me ask you this. I went to the Wildwood um, Route 66 celebration today, and this was my first time actually ever going, and I got a chance to experience it on the business side of it as a vendor. And it's an outdoor event. Anybody that knows me know I don't stay outside for a long time, especially in the summer heat. So it was just by the grace of God that I successfully made it through that day. It was hot. It was hot. I got a chance to use my tent for the first time, and oh my gosh, that was an experience all in itself. But let me ask you, if you arrived, setup began at 8. I didn't get there until, I didn't think I left my house, y'all, until 10 minutes to 8. So y'all know I didn't get there at 8. But I think I got there about 8:36, 8:45, somewhere up in there, right? And I had never set my tent up before, so I definitely had to look for somebody to help me. But before I give you all the details of the day, let me just say this. If you were in a position where you were doing some vending, right? And the setup was at 8:45, 8 o'clock, you're setting up, and the event didn't end until 3. And you're outside the whole time. And of course, you have an idea in your head of what it is that you're going to do. You know what you're going to do, and you know the outcomes that you would like to have, right? Let's say you went through that entire time. It was a little slow, and so the event holders, they come over to your table and they let you know that, hey, because things slow down, we're going to actually wrap it up an hour early. So you're not upset with that part, but you've been there the whole time. You had great conversations with the vendors that are next to you. Um, you've had some good conversations with some of the people that have approached your table, but you walk away. You travel a nice little distance, okay, and you walk away. You end your day. You've made one sale. You've made about $20, maybe 25. Would you consider that a successful day? From 8:45 to 2 p.m. And you know the work that you had to put into it, gas costs money, and you got there. Do you count success off of, well, do you look at success off of what you can count? Some people would think that that wasn't a successful day. But when I was asked that question, y'all, I had a great day. Today was definitely a successful day. It was a great day. It was hot. I didn't like that part, but the blessing is I asked God to keep me comfortable. And it was hot. I forgot my fan at home. I charged my fan up last night because I knew it was going to be hot and I knew I was going to need to stay cool, but I forgot my fan. But you know what God gave me all day? I had a breeze all day. There was not a moment that I was not feeling a breeze. The breeze felt good, but the breeze also was knocking over some stuff and making things a challenge for me because this was my first outdoor event. So there were some challenges that came with today. But my title today was Change Your Lens so that you don't miss God. There were some of you that I'm pretty sure you said you thought, no, that today was not a successful day. You only made $20, $25. You drove a distance. You stayed out there all day. You didn't make no money. It cost you more to get there than what you walked away with. And what I'm going to tell you all is you can't be any more wrong. So let me walk you through my day because God was in the midst of my entire day blessing me from the time that I stepped foot on the ground to the time that I left. And so I already shared with you that when I got there, I had forgot my fan at home. Okay. This was my very first time using my tent, and the tent that I have is not one of those pop-up tents. And let me just say, I will be investing in one of those, but the one that I have is not one of those pop-up tents. I was excited. I got this tent off of Amazon. It was a great deal. It was only $30, and it served its purpose. Okay. And it's going to continue to serve its purpose because I learned some things today. I learned that I need for my tent to be great, I either need to be in a grassy area to where I can secure it down and use the pins and hoist it down. Or if I'm going to be on concrete, I need some weights, like some real weights to wrap around the legs of those things because the wind was causing my little tent to walk. Right? It was getting blown sideways. It was moving. I had to keep securing the legs. I met a beautiful young lady by the name of Kate that was helping me out. Right? I got there. This gentleman named Travis met me. Travis helped me set that tent up. He helped me set it up really quickly. Now I felt like the enemy walked over there and was trying to hold us up because I told y'all I got there about 8:36. The event starts at 10 o'clock. I needed to set that tent up before I can even set my tables up. So me and Travis are trying to get this tent, and you can tell that we're trying to get things set up. And a lady comes over and begins to ask Travis a bunch of questions that really did not need to be asked in the moment. And she kept answering questions behind questions. And she saw us trying to get something done. Now I could have been irritated. I could have let that get to me, but I didn't. I didn't. Because I knew sometimes the enemy uses people or you get tested in the moment to see what your heart posture is going to be like. But y'all, I'm shifting. So I don't have time to be bothered by irrelevant things, right? I just started looking at those directions myself when I continued until the lady walked away. And then Travis got right back on in. Travis helped me pop that tent up. So that is one thing that God did for me. As I was traveling down the highway, I asked God to send me somebody that was going to help me get my tent up. So that was prayer answered number one. All righty. So that's the first thing that was positive that helped this journey start off to be a successful day. All righty. One thing. Um, Now the wind is blowing it. It's moving. It's knocking stuff down as I'm trying to now set my table up. The breeze feels so good, and I'm protected. My table, my space is in the it was in the sun, but I wasn't in the sun because that tent shaded me. And the tents next to me were bigger than mine, and some of them were a little bit um their tent hung lower, so they're blocking the shade too. So that is another blessing. That's another win for me because I don't like heat, y'all. And I cannot be in the direct sunlight for extended period of time. So that is win number two for me. God knew what I needed because I forgot my fan. So now I'm protected. I'm not in the direct sunlight. I'm in a shaded, my entire space was shaded. Okay. I forgot my chair. I forgot my chair. We'll talk about that in a minute. But there's a young lady on the side of me and she comes over. She has extra weights. And y'all, she put her weight ring around the front poles of my tent. That helped to secure it. So it's not blowing as much. Can I tell you? That is success number three. At the start of this day, before the event even gets started, God is making provisions for me. You hear me? So I got a helper that helped set this tent up. I'm in the shade. I have now weights that are holding my tent that I didn't purchase. I did not come prepared. So now I'm setting my table up, and I have for my display, guys. I have my boards that I created. I use the trifold boards that the kids use for science projects. You've seen those. So I've created my display using one of those boards, and then I also have another display board that's made out of like the foam cardboard. We're out there. We're outside. Y'all know what's happening to my displays. Every time I set them up, what's happening? If that wind was blowing my tent, what do you think is happening to my boards? Yeah, they're blowing. They're knocking everything over. So I'm getting nowhere fast. So I decided to take those things and I just set them on the ground in front of my table, because the type of tablecloth that I have is one of those fitted tablecloths that goes all the way to the ground and it secures under the leg. So it gives, it has some elasticity to it, right? So I take my boards and I set them in front of my table and I lean them up against my tablecloth and just let it rest there for a minute as I begin to organize and set the other things on my table. Now, the wind is blowing and I have papers that need to go there. So I have these little plants and I start using them as paper holders and I set it on top of my things. Sweet Kate on the side of me sees that and she comes up. She said, "Do you think um these binder clips would help?" I'm like, "I don't know." She said, "Well, let's see." And so she gives me a binder clip and we put it on the stack of papers. And so that holds those papers together. So now they're not blowing. I take my picture frames and I put them on top of the little single displays that I have laying flat. That works. I take my cup holder of pens and I set it on top of um, my notebook that says relationships so that page doesn't turn and everything is secure. Then what Kate does, y'all, for my boards that are in front of my table, Kate takes part of my tablecloth and she stretches it because I told you it has some elasticity. And she takes that binder clip and she puts my tablecloth over the top of one of my boards and she clips it. And what does it do? It snaps that board back and it holds it there. And then she does that to my trifold board. Later on, I end up asking her for another one because I ended up putting two clips on that trifold board. And I turn my little lights on that I have wrapped around my board. And when I step back and I look at that table, does it look like I originally planned for it to look? No. Did I want my boards to be elevated to catch the attention of individuals like my first vendor event? Yes, I wanted it to be up high. I wanted it to catch attention. But what God did was He gave me Kate. And Kate is looking at it and she says, "It looks good." And she said, "You got to think about it. When the people walk in, they're going to be walking." And she's looking, she says, "So they're going to see it as they're walking." She says, and they don't really get that close. They very rarely get that close to the tables. So you don't have to really worry about them kicking it. But it looks good. And as I looked at it, I agreed with her. It did look good. So what is that? That's yet another success before this event gets started. All righty. I wasn't prepared for those things. This is my first outside event. But guess what God sent me? He sent me somebody on the side of me that was going to talk to me and had some extra stuff. That was the provision. He already had it in place for me because remember, I just had to show up. I stepped out on faith and signed up. I showed up. He's providing the provisions. This is success. This is what success looks like. Haven't even met any customers, clients, or anybody coming to the table to visit yet. All right. So as the day is going on, I'm talking to people. I'm enjoying myself. I'm talking to the other vendors that are there that are walking over to the table. And Kate was my first. She was my first person that I did my demonstration on because she was curious about it. And then she gave me her information because she wanted to talk about it later. Success, right? No money was made there, but it's okay because she had provided a lot of provisions, and that's greater than the dollar amount. I didn't need to sell anything to her, right? Not yet. We'll talk about that. Then another one of the vendor guys came that was in front of me. He came over to the table and he was talking, and he did my demonstration. He's like, "My wife needs this." That's two. And now I have two videos that I can use later, right? To show to the thousands of people that need to see what I have. Man, those are thousands of customers, hundreds of customers that are waiting that are eventually coming. No, I don't have the money right now. I didn't get the sale right then, but that doesn't mean it's not coming. And I enjoy talking to them and networking with them. And so now I have people that are coming to the table and I'm enjoying teaching them and sharing this information and hearing their stories and doing the demonstrations. Now, guys, the only thing that I normally ask when I'm at the vendor event, I'm patching people for free. because that's planting the seed. I need them to see how my patches and how their body is affected by it. And most of the time, people get the result that I know they're going to get, and then they come over to the table and they might buy um, some singles right then and there, or they might place the order right then and there. That didn't happen right away. It happened. The first person that came over, it did happen, but unfortunately, I was having technical difficulties, and for some reason, my app didn't want to open up. It didn't. The payment method for the credit cards didn't want to work for me, and so I lost that. Well, I'm not going to say I lost that first sale because I do believe that that's going to come back to me. What is for me is for me, but I was not able to take advantage of gaining that sale right then and there because he didn't have cash. All he had was a card. Okay. But he was very patient. He was trying his best in that heat to stay with me. And he was pleasant. What he did do is he gave me his contact information because he said we were going to end up talking later about it because he really liked the patches and he was going to want some of those. He also got my contact information so he can go on and get them on his own. Some people might say, oh man, that was a loss. I took a loss. I didn't take a loss. I took a win because I had a chance to make an impact on him. We had pleasant conversations, and he left me with his contact information and he came back. It's all about the lens that I'm looking at everything. I went in with a heart of gratitude, and I wasn't going to let anything that happened at that event change the gratitude that I was having. Because whether I made $20 or $500 at that event, I was in my assigned place that I was supposed to be at. I was in my assigned place. Now, the only thing I really ask individuals to do is let me record. I always say, can I record? I had about 3 people that came to my table, and it was the first time ever, and I'm pretty sure it's not going to be the last time this happened. But there were a couple that wouldn't let me record, or it changed their mind completely, and they didn't want to do the demonstration. And I'm like, I don't have to record. Don't miss out on the opportunity. But it was okay. What's for me is for me. Some people are going to say yes, some are going to say no, right? What I have is not for everybody. And the people that it is for, they're going to make it to my table to get what I have for them. Now, what I really enjoyed were the ones that had heard about Super Patch and they'd seen it, and their eyes got big when they saw my sign, and I'm like, do you know about this? Have you ever heard of it? Because that's the first thing I asked. Have you ever heard about Super Patch? So this one particular lady came. She says, yes, I have. A friend of mine's mom sells this. And I said, you've been watching it and you're curious. She said, yes. I said, so today you're going to have a Super Patch experience. And she allowed me to record. I got a chance to meet with her. I got a chance to help her with some areas that she needed support with. She called her family over to the table, guys. Guess what? I did another family member of her. She made sure she got my contact information. She filled out my raffle card. Her friend was like, don't forget about me. I need to scan your card too. So now I got excited friends. She wanted to purchase something. So that was that one sale that I was telling you about that ended up being the $25 sale, right? But how do y'all know that's not a $25 sale? That's what it was right there. That was a $25 blessing that I got right there in the moment. But I established a trusting relationship right there because they made sure when they were walking away, one, they said it was a pleasure talking to you. They're looking forward to seeing me soon. Seeing me, not talking to me, right? And so let me tell you what another big blessing that came my way. My water that I'm drinking, y'all, is gone. It's hot. I don't have a cooler. Kate is on the side of me, and she said, do you want a snack? No, I didn't want a snack, but I was thirsty. She reached in her bag, and she gives me this ice cold, smart water, y'all. This Glacier Smart water. It was so good. Now, this is how I know God sent Kate to me, because Kate says, I was only going to bring one water at first. But then something had told me to stop at Walmart. And so I stopped at Walmart and I went and got another water. I like to believe that was God making provisions. I was en route, and while Kate was en route, because Kate got there before me, Kate had God had Kate go get me a water and had it in that bag for me. I didn't have a chair. Y'all, Kate gave me her chair, and she sat on one of her utility totes because she had a lot of things on her table. She pulled her utility tote out. So when I wanted to sit down, Kate had provided me a seat. I sat down for a couple of minutes, y'all, not long, because when I went down low, the sun found me and it was beaming on me and it started making me sweat. So y'all know what happened, right? I got my butt up because when I stand up, I was in the shade and I was feeling the cool of the breeze. So I was grateful for that seat because that left me with an option. When my legs get tired, I could sit down. But my choice was to stand up and move around. Another great thing about that day, because I'm telling you about all the successes, I'm telling you the lens that I was looking at. Another great thing, I had a guy that walked up to my table and he had his two children with him and he looked fit. He was fit. And he was listening to the pitch and he's like, interesting. And he's asking us questions and he agreed to do a stability test. Now, y'all, when I'm looking at him and I'm looking at the muscle, I'm looking at his build, I'm like, oh, I haven't done a stability test on a fit person. And as I'm talking, he said, you must don't know who I am. And he's smiling, a beautiful smile. I said, no, I don't. I'm not from this area. And he kind of gave me the head nod. And he pointed. He said, my name's Mike. I own that fitness center. Yeah, when I turned around, that fitness center took up almost majority of that parking lot. He's like, I was getting ready to take my kids over there so they can go to the obstacle course that I set up. And so he went ahead and he agreed to do the stability test. And he was, now y'all, his strength and his stability, it was really good. But when he was facing me, his stability was a little bit off. Not by much, but it was off. Right? And if there's room for improvement, then you make improvement. When he did the vertical, he was grounded. He was steady. So when I put that patch on his arm and we did that front one, that horizontal again, he was like, wow. And so I wanted to drop something in his mind. I said, you're strong and you're steady. And there was room for a little bit of improvement. Right? I said, but think about our seniors. And he said, on Mondays and Wednesdays, I have a legends class. He said, and I think this would really be good for them. You should take my number down and call me because I would love to get you out here and schedule you to come and do a presentation before the class starts so that they can get patched and get a demonstration before the class starts. And so they can see the difference that it makes for them. Now that you hear a little bit of how my day has gone and you hear the individuals I've come into contact with, if I was to ask you again, do you think I had a successful day? I would hope that you're looking through the lens that I was looking through all day. Because that's networking right there. He invited me to come to his business to do a presentation. And he didn't say I had to just come once. That's an open invitation. And I can come and set up. I can do that as often as I like if I call Mike and make an appointment to do so. Do you see where I'm going with that? So I'm glad that I made the trip there because this was a very successful event because it set me up for the future. And so I say that to say this to you. Sometimes you're looking, if you only keep the lens on that's looking at your current circumstances, if you are judging your success by what you can count right in the moment, you got blinders on and you're missing Your opportunity is to see God in everything else. So that's kind of my challenge for you. I want you to change your lens. And I also don't want you to be so influenced by other people. Don't look at what's happening in your life through the lens of what other people see. Don't look at your success through the lens of what other people see. Because you're the one that's plugged in. You know your prayers and you know what you're asking God for. You may not know everything that God is doing in the moment, but He's working. And if you look from a different lens, not for Him to show up always the way you're expecting it to happen, you'll see Him in everything. Today I saw God in the breeze that was keeping me cool because I forgot my fan at home. I saw God in the weights that were provided to me to keep my tent from walking away. Today I saw God in the water that was purchased for me and that she didn't even know that that's why she went to the store. I saw God in the provision that was made when Travis came over to come and help me set up my tent, because I had been trying, and while I was planning for the event, I had been looking for people that could go with me so that I could have a second hand with me to help me. I didn't let it discourage me. I just asked God along the way, hey, God, I'm going to need this. Right? I could have been discouraged and like, oh, I don't even have anybody to help me. What am I going to do? When the wind kept knocking my stuff off my table and the boards, I saw God when the clips were provided to clip my stuff to my table. I didn't get discouraged. I didn't get upset because provisions kept being made. I saw God in the 7 videos. I might not have got a lot of money today, but it's coming. I wasn't there to chase the money. I'm always there chasing impact. How can I impact somebody's life? So I saw God when I asked God to let the people that everybody that walks over to my table, let them walk away feeling better than what they did when they got there. The people weren't really smiling before they made it to my table, but everybody that walked away had a smile on their face and they seemed just a little bit more joyful and pleasant. Right? And they walked away with a little bit more knowledge. They walked away with something that made their body feel a little bit better than what it did when they walked over to my table. They walked away with some more hope. So I saw God in that. And just because I don't have the revenue today, my revenue is coming. God has already worked that out. And it's going to be more than what I would have made right there standing at that table. I got some lifetime clients that are getting ready to come out of this vendor event. And had I not stepped out on faith and arrived, I would have missed out. So that is what I wanted to share with you today. I had a very successful day. Was I tired when I left? Yes. Because y'all, God's sunshine is so good. But when you directly in it with no protection, I didn't start getting tired, y'all, until I started breaking down my tent. Because when I'm breaking down the tent, that took the cover off. And I was like, I was working fast. And then once I started getting down to the last little bit, y'all, I started moving slower and slower. I felt like life was being drained out of me. It was being cooked out of me. I was so weak. By the time I got in that car, I hadn't eaten a single thing. So when I got home, I sat on the couch because I was just trying to cool my body down. And y'all know I felt clean asleep. So I almost missed this live, but when I woke up and I saw it was 6 o'clock, it gave me enough time to get my bearings together. So I got to get off here with you all because I have somebody that's waiting on me to respond. to them. And God is good. There's success in that too, because I've been receiving text messages from some of you all already. So this has been a successful Saturday. I'm grateful for it. So change your lens so you don't miss God. Success isn't always what you can see and count. Gotta have a heart of gratitude to get to that level that you're searching for. Alrighty? Be blessed. I hope this gave some of you an aha moment, and I hope it changes how you think and look at your future from here on out. You gotta make a shift. Alrighty? Talk to you later. Thank you. But I don't ever want to leave here without telling you thank you, because you did not have to stay with me this whole time. So thank you. Remember to take the time to pause, hope, and live, because there's always more life to live. Be blessed. I'll see y'all tomorrow.